Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the scariest story ever, a Mickey Mouse Halloween Spooktacular. Now, I can't believe I just said that without messing it up. That's pretty dang great. This is a Disney animated short, the modern style Mickey Mouse character animation style. It's from 2017. It's about 22 minutes long, and yeah, I know some people have a problem with, like, some people who are like the old school Disney people are like, I don't like the new style Disney animation. It's just not the way it used to be. Well, no, it's not the way it used to be. The thing is, styles change, and audiences change, and sensibilities change, and what was popular in the 1930s, although that's classic and it's amazing, it's all hand drawn and it's done a certain way. It doesn't necessarily translate to the type of animation that a lot of kids today have grown up with, or even since like the 90s. Like, you're going to look at DuckTales from the 90s versus, or 80s, or I can't remember when that was, versus DuckTales today, which I think just wrapped up its series. The two of those very different styles, but they speak to a different generation, a different audience, a different look, style, way of movement for the characters and everything else. It's meant to be different, and it's good that it's different. I think when say kids today would look at if they tried to look at this right here and saw it was done in the old school style, they probably wouldn't be as interested in it as they would be when they see it like this. And it does take a lot of inspiration from anime. Yeah, there's no denying that a lot of American style animation these days, especially a lot of action oriented stuff, a lot of well, that's what a lot of cartoons are. They are. There's a lot of movement, a lot of color, and everything else. It is very Japanese, Korean inspired, and you see that throughout this. But this does still have a very American sensibility to it. As it feels. It feels like Karafalski. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. Like Ren and Stimpy to a certain degree, but even though that was like the 80s and 90s, it's still it Kara. I'm sure I pronounced that. I can never pronounce his name properly, but it has a certain wholesomeness and yet gruesomeness that fits side by side beautifully, especially when you're talking about a Halloween story here. And this story is Mickey and Goofy and Donald are out taking their nephews trick or treating. Goofy doesn't have a kid in this one, but Mickey and Donald, who seem to have girlfriends or wives, but they all seem to have nephews. Donald's, of course, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, but Mickey, I've never seen his nephews before. This is like Marty and Bertie or something like that. It's new to me. Maybe they appear in some other animated things that I have not seen yet, but they're new to me. So there's like 5 of these kids, and they're done with trick or treating, and they're in for the night, and the Donald and Goofy are staying over, just hanging out, and Mickey decides, I'm going to tell them a scary story because that's what Halloween's all about. I'm going to let's freak the kids out. Let's do it. And by the way, I'm not going to ruin everything. That's come on. Yeah, jeez, that wasn't very long. I must have reset the thing. Anyway, where was I? It says no editing. Yeah, you notice this goes straight through without editing. If I have to cough or fart or whatever, it stays in. Lucky you. Anyway, I've sneezed on these things before. I've not farted. That I know of. That you know of. Anyway, Mickey decides, hey, I'm going to tell a story. And the kids are pretty jaded by anything Mickey has to tell them. He starts out with a Frankenstein type story. He goes on with the help of Donald and Goofy, Van Helsing, like a Dracula kind of story. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil the details, but yeah, the overall pitch here, I'm going to pretty much tell you how it goes. Because I mean, honestly, the big question is can you share this to your 3-year-old or something, your little kid? Is it truly scary? No, It's not scary at all. I mean, because the biggest problem here is that as Goofy explains it to Mickey, in a very rare bit of intelligence, um, he comes from the happiest place on earth, and he doesn't have the ability to be scary. He's nice and sweet, and he's kind, he's friendly, he's hopeful, he's all these things. And for him to have an edge, the edge that you would need to tell a scary story, well, that's just not within Mickey, or so it seems. He pulls out all the stops for the last story. Yeah, so there's three full stories contained within this thing. In the third story, he does pull out all the stops, and he does tell a story that, well, the kids and his friends react to pretty strongly, and the animation bears that out. I mean, as compared to the first two stories, it doesn't change at all. It's just you can tell it's a bit more intense. It's paced so much better, and it flips between showing us the story, of course with an animation, but also cuts back to Mickey telling the story. So you see the reactions of his nephews and Donald's nephews and his buddies. So yeah, it's to a certain degree, yes, the last story is scarier, but it's not the kind of thing that would leave your kid having nightmares. It wouldn't leave you having nightmares, I would hope. It is absolutely silly. It is the way they show fright in these characters is comedic. It's them frozen in fear in many ways, but the expressions in their faces just tell the whole story. It's so beautifully done in the modern style of animation that could not and has not been done the same way back in the olden days, nearly 100 years ago, nearly 90 years ago. A lot of this stuff, it can't be done the same way. It's not done the same way, and it wouldn't hold the attention of kids if this same story was told in the old style. I don't think it would be anyway. By the way, there are tons and tons of references to other classic Disney Halloween and supernatural type things. The demon from Fantasia, I can't remember his name. Begins with a B. I suck. He just makes a small cameo. The Headless Horseman from the Ichabod Crane story sort of shows up as a statue, kind of like in California Adventure in Disneyland. And even the Steamboat from Steamboat Willie makes a brief appearance. So it's in a nice, just a great joke, just a fun toss away joke. It's kind of great. So yeah, I highly recommend this. I laughed out loud a number of times during this because it surprised me. I have not seen a ton of the shows with this style. We did a couple months back see a series of animated shorts. Mickey Goes Local, where he and Minnie travel to different parts of the world. That had a certain type of humor to it and look to it that's similar. But this is locked down. It works beautifully with horror. So the scary stories. So it works out. I highly recommend it. Maybe you don't want to watch it now. Wait for Halloween. Get the family together and just get a kick out of it, seeing the classic characters in a modern look, and just having a nice, spooky, funny time. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
390.
390. So yeah, it's about 22 minutes. It's not a short, but it's short enough. Okay, all right. Well, we got a movie, and I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I don't think I've seen it. I'm not big into sports movies myself. I'm not a sporty guy, if you can't tell. But yeah, baseball season is here. This is a baseball movie, unless I'm completely wrong about the title. This is Rookie of the Year. So, yeah, we're watching Rookie of the Year next. Tomorrow, we'll be back here to talk about it on the Disney Plus Silver Day Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.